Hello everyone, Shadefire here, and today I'm taking a first impressions look at the Vanishing of Ethan Carter. I don't know too much about this game going in, and I've been told that's kind of the best way to do it, but from what I understand it's a first-person, sort of open-world mystery exploration game, in that we are exploring an open world to solve a mystery. It sounds kind of like maybe there's some horror elements as well, but with a super unobtrusive title screen like this, I think it's best we just go straight into the game. Good to know.
Ethan Carter I didn't know, but he knew who I was. When the police won't help you and the priests don't believe you, you call on Paul Prospero. You call on me. If you're a kid like Ethan, you're right, plenty do. Ethan's letter started out just like any other fan mail, but soon there were mentions of things no little boy should know about. There are places that exist that very few people can see. Ethan could have drawn a map. I hadn't entered Red Creek Valley yet, but already I could feel its darkness reaching out for me. Finding Ethan Carter wasn't going to be as easy as knocking on his door. I was too late for that. To find Ethan, I had to figure out what this place was trying to hide from me.
So I guess it told the truth with that, because I'm not really sure who we are, or even what sort of person our character is supposed to be. Some sort of paranormal detective, maybe? But all I know is we're in some sort of malevolent place looking for a little boy who reached out to us. I assume the story will sort of flesh out as we go. So yes, this does appear to be a malevolent place, considering we've already almost died. So we have some sort of paranormal sense here, but I'm not sure what it's trying to show me. It just looks like a piece of ground. Alright, so I guess I should keep an eye out for tripwires and bear traps, maybe. The other thing I read, from what very little I've read about this game, it is a very pretty game. I was a little unsure of... Oh. I was a little unsure of, Okay, so these traps are giving us an overall picture. I was a little hesitant going in when I saw that Unreal logo, because as I've mentioned before, a lot of Unreal Engine games don't look very good to me. And I understand it's a super subjective sort of judgment, but this game definitely surpasses the usual look they have. I'm noticing that these traps are maybe not the most effective because they're all going off before we get close to them. They're like proximity traps that don't actually affect people in the proximity. But I assume if we find all of them, we'll get a complete picture. So maybe I should look around for maybe the last one. Alright, there's a train track that has been blocked for presumably a while. What was this place called? Red Creek Valley? Red River Valley? Something like that? We don't really know anything about the place either. Is it a town? Are there people in the town? Or is it abandoned? Again, it's the stylistic choice for the story to start in medias res like that. I'm sure we'll learn more as we go. kind of interesting to see one of these sorts of first-person exploration games that isn't either super hands-off like Dear Esther, where you're literally just walking from point to point to trigger story prompts, or, you know, super involved like Amnesia, where you're running away from something. This seems to kind of be, I mean, just from what we've played here, this seems like it's going for a sort of middle ground. Like, we can sprint, so I'm assuming at some point we might actually have to run away from something.
Red Creek Valley seemed like a quiet, ordinary place. I've learned two things in my life. No place is truly quiet, and nowhere is really ordinary. Ethan warned me about that. Warned me not to be fooled by what I saw here. He didn't need to worry. I'd worked dozens of cases, hundreds. This would be my last one.
And I say that just because this seems like it'll have, you know, actual gameplay, maybe some puzzle solving or something, but then also is very story driven, so we are also triggering story points. Looks like we already have our first open world choice here. I can go down the hill towards the sort of rivery creek bed down there, or we can cross this bridge. Also, you can see a dam off in the distance there. Yeah, this is a very nice looking place. It doesn't look like the sort of place where you'd be brutally murdered by a ball of spikes falling from a tree, but I guess we've already gotten past that point. Or does this not actually lead down the hill? It just leads back on itself? Sadly, we can't jump, so I can't just scale these rocks. I feel like there should be a fourth trap around here. Is that a trap? That looks like a trap. Oh, we're still one short. Alright, so I guess our only path is forward. Seems like the sort of place I wouldn't mind going in real life. Old abandoned bridges, probably some abandoned buildings. You know, just a rundown old town with no one in it. Minus the traps and everything. Might have a bit of an acrophobia thing, though, with all these gaps in the bridge. Now, I wonder if this is the sort of game where we'll actually be able to go to most of what we can see. I'm assuming not, because, like, there's that sort of foresty area that doesn't look accessible down there. But I'm sure we'll at least be able to go to that dam and maybe... I think I saw a dock down there. Yeah, there's a little house with a dock coming out of it. We've got a turn off option, but we don't have a turn on option. Maybe we'll need this later. Alright, so somebody was tied up here but escaped. And we can also zoom. I guess we can't take the rope. So is this just sort of our intuition powers as a detective over whatever we are? Alright. So I assume a lot of this game is just looking for things to inspect that add to our understanding of what's going on. Ah. Swarm of rail cars. Okay, so yes, we need the rail car to put it here. Yes, that is the rail car we just saw. So the rail car was here, and I guess somebody was trying to fuel it, but then it moved. I guess we don't have enough to go by for our mystical power. So this leads down. I think this actually does lead down this time. But let's go back to the rail car for a sec. I guess we can't do anything with that yet. It's a little jarring when you sprint and then stop, the screen sort of pops back. Like here, I'll let go of it. You see how it sort of jumps like that? But that's kind of a minor thing. That didn't really sound like a natural animal sound. Seems like the sun is setting. It's lower than when we got here. I'm not sure if this game has a proper day-night cycle or if it's just sort of progressing as we go, I guess, forward. That blood? No. Cliff's edge. Well, it's a nice scenic view, but it doesn't really help us. It does remind me a little of Alan Wake, though, but that's probably just a similar, heavily forested sort of setting. I don't know that Red Creek Valley is in the Pacific Northwest. We don't quite have forests like that here. We're a bit too far north. Though I don't really live in small town countryside, so I guess I can't really fairly judge the forests around here. Yeah, it's definitely not an animal. That is some manner of strange beast that is following us making that sound. Appears to be increasing in frequency. Perhaps we're being followed. What's this? Alright. One of these puddled. I can solve this through trial and error. Now we're chasing an astronaut. Gotta say, this is all a bit unexpected. Sense of urgency to chase this disappearing spaceman. I feel like he's leading us somewhere, though. I feel like maybe we've stepped off script a bit. and now we're left floating in space with all these other pods. Is Ethan Carter in one of these pods? I wonder if this is sort of Easter egg ending that we discovered by accident, and now we're forever trapped in space until we restart the game. You've met with a terrible fate, haven't you? Oh. A thing. Can I... Yeah, I need to zoom in because I cannot read this. These sad things. So does that mean this is describing us? Except.
Get out of my room, Travis!
Stories, stories. Always with the stories.
Get out!
I read the Fangs one. I liked the Beast. At least he gets to leave this goddamn place.
Okay. So it seems Ethan Carter was a fan of these old sci-fi stories. And perhaps we just had a bit of a flash of one of his stories here. Anything on the other side? Oh, there is something on the other side. Well, that was a bit of an odd detour for us. Still, I'm glad we didn't have to restart after being trapped in space. Seems like Red Creek Valley has not had trains coming through for quite some time, judging by how old-fashioned this stop looks. I don't know if that's just a thing we don't have here, but I've never heard of really these sort of middle-of-nowhere train stops, but it seems like England has them, and I guess the States used to. You know, just places where the train apparently stops nowhere near anything.
No trains have been through here for a long time. That was part of a pattern. Large pieces of this country were thrown away, doomed to become, and then remain, the worst versions of themselves. Beneath all that rot, dark things grow.
feel like Prospero here has some pretty decent voice acting. Bit of an odd name, but I don't think this is meant to be some sort of retelling of The Tempest. Wow, we already walked all the way to the dam. Somehow I had a feeling it was farther away. Sadly, it appears to be mostly just the texture. I definitely know that I have not fully explored the woods yet, but hoping we might get a little bit of an idea of what's going on before we end this. And heading into town seems like the best way to get some sort of feel for what's happening here. I'm not sure what those blinking red lights are. Can't tell if that's just a graphical glitch or if that's intentional. Seems like it might be an LOD bug. This is the first game by its developer, a little Polish studio called Astronauts. And it seems pretty polished otherwise for a first game. I wonder if the property value went down when the house started falling off the cliff. Someone invoking. Is this a door of confusion? This game also seems to have a great musical score that goes with the sort of atmospheric thing they're going for. This is some sort of nightmare house to navigate. Okay, I'm guessing we went the wrong way. Because now we're back on the first floor. Okay, so that's the first door we're supposed to go through. But, oh. Now we're back out of the door path. Maybe we have to... Okay, so we read the invocation. And we have to... I'm guessing we need to go through these rooms not to where they're supposed to go. Okay, that one didn't flash red, so I guess we went the right way there. Maybe we're supposed to know which room this is supposed to connect to? And that's what it meant by only allow people that know the truth to get through? Or are we actually changing the layout of the house to a degree? There's a book, but we can't read it. I'm trying to figure this out by the layout of the windows and where windows should be. Like this one, we're right along the wall, so obviously there should be windows along the wall. But if there were windows on that side, it wouldn't make any sense. And then this should be this. No, that one was wrong. It's definitely a strange puzzle. From the Earth to the Moon by Jules Verne. Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court. Treasure Island. I will say the texture work in this is especially good for an Unreal Engine game, since textures are often a problem for that. It does really look like they just took a lot of pictures and turned them into textures. High resolution textures at that. Alright, so I think I triggered all the doors, which I assume I need to do if I want to leave. Oh, nope, here's another 2. Aha! I guess we solved it because we only got one wrong. A close enough principle. So here is someone, presumably the person who made the incantation to hide this room, which is not attached to anything, and thus is only accessible by going through those in the right sequence. Looks like some alchemy. A severed head. And a creepy, frowning fetus.
Why are you standing there? You spying?
No?
No, huh? What the hell's wrong with you exactly?
Nothing.
You need to stop leaving your stupid stories around. They're freaking everyone out.
So it seems Ethan has his own takes on whatever happened here. Doesn't really seem that strange for a boy to escape his abusive family by writing stories about escaping. Anyhow, I think that's actually a good look at the vanishing of Ethan Carter. I don't want to go too deep into this because, you know, it is a story-driven thing. But I think that gives you a bit of an idea of what kind of game this is. It's a slow-paced sort of game where you explore a place and learn a bit about the mysteries there. I assume, like I said, that there is probably some danger to the protagonist beyond just, you know, being in an old place. And I feel that as you go deeper into the mystery, there's probably more going on with that. Mine shaft. So yeah, this is The Vanishing of Ethan Carter. It is $20 on Steam, and it's a very pretty game with an interesting sort of start. And I'd like to go further into this. I'm Shadefire, and you folks all have a fine day.